Good day, everyone. Today we're going to tackle Joshua Cologne and get through some commentary. I'm pretty excited to do this. This doesn't have a lot of legal component to it, although he does have a good portion of the interview with Chris, and then there's a lot of the portion which is with police. Um, so a little bit like Maurice Wallen, I guess we'll get to just how police gets to freaking bag these guys, which is always very entertaining. The way they're tricked, so quote unquote tricked into incriminating themselves. Joshua Cologne just comes in and just freaking spills his guts to Chris and then to police. It's just he freaking just is asking for the stick. Like he's giving them everything they need, and it's fucking hilarious. And to be fair, like there are some like funny parts to it. We're gonna see he comes in with like fucking food for himself only, and then like fucking like needs to go to the bathroom really bad, and Chris doesn't let him. Um, so yeah, without further ado, let's get going here with Chris setting things up for us.
From New York when he surfaced in our Fairfield, Connecticut investigation. He brought an overnight bag and dinner for one.
Dinner for
Wanted
one.
To have sex with a 12-year-old girl.
Oh,
He got was a date with me.
that is so ominous.
Sorry. Hi, puppy.
Did you hear her? She said it so.
Hi, puppy.
Hi, Pappy. So, like, it's gonna be a big part of the interview too. So he insisted on the decoy during their chat, calling her Poppy. Um, it's at once it's very fucking disturbing, and yet it's so fucking stupid. Um, this guy is like so. It's one of these things, right, where it's like even the decoy is embarrassed because there's like online chat and what seems kind of like when you're fucking horny behind your computer kind of talk, right? Like that sounds like call me Poppy sounds really like macho and everything. But then like when you're actually like facing the person and then like she has to do the bullshit that you talked about and she's like Poppy, it's just so fucking ridiculous, right? And he probably like realizes this. The decoy walks away embarrassed and also he's like that's kind of fucking embarrassing.
It's so good to see you. Oh, did you get here okay though? Were the roads bad?
So this guy just fucking turns up with like a gym bag and then like food for himself, and he also has a backpack. Like he comes in like with a lot of fucking bullshit on him, and funnily enough, like when he leaves, like when he eventually gets bagged, I don't think he has any of this shit with him. So either police took it or like they left it on the spot. I assume police like put it in a trunk or something, took it to processing with him. But yeah, it's funny. He really has a lot of shit with him. Like, he really intends to stay the night. Fucking awful, but yeah.
Look what I made you.
It's like, so she's setting it up like, look what I made for you. Look how nice I am. Like, what do you have for me?
Those are red velvet?
Yeah. Do you like them?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, do you want to
Wanna
try
take
them?
my picture? Yeah.
What'd you bring me?
I brought dinner for myself.
Oh.
What a fucking dick, man. Like, what a fucking stupid move. I don't know, that's so fucking embarrassing. Like, you're coming over to someone's house. I'm not saying you have to bring something, but if you're in this situation, like, she's asking, what did you bring for me? You have fucking food for yourself. Like, the instant reaction is like, well, I brought, like, something for us to share. Like, I'll just, like, even if you didn't think about it earlier, you'll just split it with her, right? Just fucking dude. The arrogance, like the way he says, like, well, I brought food for myself, and even the decoy's reaction is like, what? What kind of asshole are you?
I didn't get to finish my dinner.
Oh, that's
because I was
okay.
kind of in a rush.
You
That
can finish our
stupid
house
fucking
stuff
excuse.
And then we can have
It's fine,
cupcakes.
grab me something, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Too late for that, bro. Too late.
Thanks.
Wish I had a house like this. Mind if I use the bathroom? Because I was way holding for so long.
He's
Yeah,
been
it's
holding
over
it
here.
for so long.
You look hotter than the picture.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm
God.
sorry, I'm really nervous. Yeah, right there.
Probably makes her skin crawl.
No, here, this one.
Yeah, no, don't
Yeah.
go on that one
I know, it's
yet.
little.
Dude, that's fucking hilarious. So he goes in.
Yeah.
And I can't turn it on, the light, I mean. And like, the switch up, right? Yeah, it's so fucking funny. It's like they have this link, like the decoy and Chris have this like understanding. Like she knows and he knows this is like the perfect moment. Right? Like they didn't expect him to like fucking go for the bathroom right away. But like the fact he's going, it's like the perfect situation in the best of worlds. Like there's like yeah the switch up like you can see her hand gesture is so fucking funny. Then Chris just walks in with his thing. He's like setting it up and everything. Okay, well.
Sorry, is there a light switch in here? Oh, it's behind you. Is that?
The face he made. It's like
Sorry, is there a light switch?
yeah, where's the light?
Oh, it's behind you. Is that?
Yeah. That's when he realized, like, if I remember well, there's like even himself has like a big oh shit moment.
Come on out, Joshua.
Come on out. It's like,
Oh, you have a seat.
oh
Right
shit.
over there. Right over there. Keep your hands right there.
Yeah, like that. Keep your hands where I can see them now. I really think that's it's like a strategy on Chris's part. The only time that you'd have somebody in society interact with you in that way, after meeting them, keep your hands where I can see them. First off, it commands respect. Second, it places you in the position where you're going to be mistaken for law enforcement. Police officers will do that, right? They will say, keep your hands where I can see them, as obvious as it is, because they don't want you to do any quick movements or like, they're worried about you being armed or something and you being a danger to them. And that's probably what Chris is intending. Like, if you're going to be that authoritative with somebody, it's going to command an amount of fear and respect because you're thinking that it is law enforcement. Even though, as it turns out, like he knows, either he knows he knows who Chris is. He's gonna say, and then he probably knows the show as well. He fucking reaches for his phone anyway. Like, keep your hands where I can see. Okay, takes his phone out because he probably doesn't want to sit on it. Like I've seen a lot of people like that. As an aside, like a lot of people do this. They put their phone in their pockets and then they fucking sit on it. And I'm like, I couldn't do that. That's so awful. Especially girls, by the way.
I know who you are.
I know who you
You know
are.
who I am.
Yes.
Who am I?
Chris is like, well, that's unusual. Did you see Chris's reaction?
You know who I am.
You know who I am. It's like that's unusual.
Yes.
Who am I?
Who am I?
I've seen this on a show.
What show?
His fucking car starts ringing.
It's the show about men meeting young girls.
Oh.
Do you have keys in your pocket?
Yes.
Will you take them out, please?
Fucking, I love that Chris has no chill. Like he just fucking snatches people's property. Like I want to remind people, like Chris is not a fucking cop. Like he's as close to like a nobody. Like he's really vigilante. Like you can't really do. I mean, technically, I guess you can. I think the show eventually runs into some legal problems because that kind of shit is just towing the line, as well as we like to see, offenders get arrested and taken, etc. The United States, justice system is very adamant on individual rights and the rights of people to be protected against unreasonable searches, seizures, investigations, stuff like that. Vigilantism is generally not. It's generally not encouraged. It's used, but a lot of problems arise as a result of it. And so I don't know the details, but I would think the show ran into some problems by the end of it. But yeah, he fucking snatches his keys and then starts to, so he can't turn it off, and then he hands it back to him. There's a funny thing, like
It turns off the alarm.
it turns off.
Press.
I don't know what to press. You do it. And this I like. It's not mentioned before, but
Oh, just press.
so press. So he takes the keys and like I don't know about you guys, but like my reaction would be like the car is making noise in his back. Like my reaction would be like look in the direction of the noise and turn it off. But he keeps staring at Chris, and I don't know why it makes me fucking laugh. Like he's just trying with his like fucking right hand like in the back, and then Chris like looking at him intensely. Like it's so fucking funny to me.
So you've seen my shows before.
Yeah.
My shows.
How often?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, he's still turning up.
Well, guess what? We're starting up again.
We're starting again.
And
Okay.
you are among our first guests. What's your name?
Joshua.
Joshua. Joshua what?
Uh-huh.
Cologne.
Cologne. And how old are you?
I'm 32.
32. And how did you meet this Jenna Claire?
Jenna Claire. Jenna Claire is kind of a cool name, not gonna lie. I like it. Jenna Claire.
I was on a app
Yeah.
called Link.
And why did you think it was appropriate to talk to a girl who said she was 12 years old?
I don't know why.
12?
I know. It was wrong.
What did you bring with you tonight?
Huh?
What did you bring with you tonight?
Clothes.
Clothes.
Clothes. Food just for me though.
Change your clothes.
So there's a lot of there's a couple things. First,
What did you bring with you tonight?
oh shit.
It was wrong.
It was wrong, yeah. So first off, Joshua Cologne is like an honest predator. He's one of them, right? There's like a lot of categories, like you have your I had no intentions with nothing, like full denial predators. That's like the John Dupays, right? Then you got your extremely like nervous predators, like Maurice Wallen or something. Those guys, and then you have your I guess you have your angry confrontational predators. Like that's more like your Jeff Sokol, like fuck off kind of attitude. Then you have your storytellers, so like fucking Chuck Harding, like Jean-Pierre Wary, like one of my favorites, like just like a web of fucking convoluted stories to like deny guilt. Those guys. Then you got like the honest predators, like him, right? As fucking awful as it is, like he's going to admit to everything, to Chris, to police. He's not going to lie about his intentions. He's not going to lie about what he did. It's as crazy as it sounds. Like it's almost like he wants to get caught in a way. Maybe not when he showed up, but after he got caught, quote unquote, he wants to get bagged for this almost, as we're gonna see.
What did you bring with you tonight?
Huh?
What did you bring with you tonight?
Clothes.
Clothes. Why would you need to change your clothes?
So see, also that's very interesting to bring up. This question in particular, why would you need a second pair of clothing? That really shows, like we were talking, Chris not being a police officer, but that really shows Chris's affiliation or contacts with the police and either their techniques or what they have said they need in order to convict him. Chris is asking a very suggestive question here. He wants to get Cologne to admit by default that he's going to stay the night, right? If the assumption is like you got a second pair of clothes, why do you have a second pair of clothing? And it's like, well, I intended to stay because that's what it suggests. It's a very kind of a gray area as to the severity of what we call a leading question. You see those maybe in court proceedings. This is the moment where you would say objection, leading the witness, or like leading question, because this is the kind of question where, yes, we know he's guilty, but even should it be like a question of him bringing clothing for whatever reason, like he came home from the gym or whatever, and then like there's a sexual accusation of some kind, to ask that question automatically brings the assumption of guilt, regardless of if he is honest, right? Even if he says something truthful, it's going to appear to be a lie, and that's what a leading question is. That's something that you would object to as soon as possible. But nobody's going to fucking advocate for this douchebag, obviously.
Because I was going to stay over.
Stay over with a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And what were you going to do with this girl? What do you mean you don't know?
You don't know.
Guess, have sex.
I guess have sex. Yeah. Like we were saying, honest predator. Um, he's gonna fucking admit to it. Very like you could see he's ashamed about it. But he's gonna admit to it.
Yeah.
Now, you had quite the chat with this girl.
Quite the chat, Jenna Claire.
It's too bad you aren't old enough. I would marry you. You would marry a 12-year-old girl.
It's fucking Jeff Sokol all over again.
If she was old enough.
She was old.
If
How
she
would
was
you
old
say
enough.
that to a 12-year-old?
Yeah.
Do you have any nieces and nephews, younger cousins?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if a guy was hitting on them like this?
Yeah, I wouldn't like it.
You wouldn't like it.
You wouldn't like it. It's like, even Chris, like, you wouldn't like it. It's kind of like, that's putting it mildly, bro.
Explain to me what was going on in your mind that made you think it was okay to come here and do the very same thing.
I don't want to say anymore.
Well, you pretty much already said it. You asked
See, like, if he was dealing with police, this is the moment where you would back off a little bit and say, whoa, whoa, whoa. Because, like, a lot of people don't know some of these things. They're like, well, he's guilty, like, push him, get him. But it's like, in some capacities, sometimes you being too aggressive towards the accused is going to lead to some procedure problems, right? They're going to say the evidence that you acquired is not receivable anymore. Or like that, because you did this, your probable cause is out the window. And sometimes, I'm not saying in this time in particular, but obviously Chris doesn't give a shit. That's the thing. It's like, he's just an individual fucking citizen, and you don't have to talk to him, but he gives you the allure of authority. He gives you the allure of, like, you have to answer to me now because I'm right here and I caught you, when it's not really the case. And like I said previously, as a big disclaimer, like, I'm very glad these fuckers get caught. It's just the reality of the kind of, like, breach of the criminal procedure in this case, where you've got a third party involved, acquiring evidence and probable cause against the accused.
her address. I'll pick you up somewhere and we'll have sex if you want. I'll go slow, and yes, it will hurt because she's a virgin, you said.
Ugh, fucking foul,
This is all
man.
you, right? You tell her to masturbate in preparation for your big night of sex with a virgin.
Gee. Yeah, I remember she fucking comes in. So it's like the quickest,
For
like.
your big night of sex.
So
with a virgin.
That's a very like, a lot of people are like making fun of this in particular because, like, it's so funny, right? She pops in and then she grabs something and she pops out. But what I always thought is, like, why the fuck is she taking his car keys? Like, what the hell is that? Like, are they afraid that he's gonna run off? Like, they didn't do it for other predators. Like, why is she coming and fucking snatch his keys? I don't really understand. But just the fact that she pops in, takes his shit, and gets out, and, like, and she tries to, she really makes an effort not to acknowledge him at all. It's like she never came. It's like she never came through. She fucking bails.
Yes.
Where are they?
In my bag.
What else is in the bag?
Clothes and toothbrush, stuff like that.
Toothbrush.
That's it.
That's it. That's all you're gonna find.
Yeah, well, we'll finally make out and make love.
He keeps
thinking
reading
of
this
staying
dirty
over.
shit.
And leaving the next morning.
The next morning.
So when I come over, we'll go to your room and you'll take off all your clothes. Since I'm the boss.
Ugh.
Why did you have her call you Poppy?
Poppy. Why did you have her call him Poppy? Yeah, so, yeah, like I said, I don't really go through the chat. Like, it's a lot of time investment, and I don't, in law school right now, you can imagine I don't have a lot of time to do this shit. I already have so much shit to read, and I'm not gonna fucking waste time reading this disgusting shit. But even if it's if it would be helpful, but I like it. Did you realize, to me, like, it seems like, based on what I hear from TCAPers and stuff, there's never, like, a predator that's, like, mellow in, like, his chats, like, it never goes the way that a typical quote-unquote romantic encounter online would start. It's always they write always some foul shit on there, regarding what they want to do, like, about the decoy and shit, and it's like, I personally, like, if somebody's of age, like, sex chat with them all you want, like, feel free. For myself, I don't really understand that. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm one of the good ones, it's not like that. Like, I'm not, like, putting myself on a high horse or anything. But it's just not a smart thing to do. And I'm not talking about, like, with minors, like, don't even think about it, but, like, with people that are of age, it's more for, like, myself, out of, like, self-preservation. Like, it's maybe the fact that I intend on having, like, a prosperous career and stuff. Like, nowadays, like, with people getting canceled and shit being, like, unveiled, like, anytime you have any kind of status, like, you don't want shit like this to get out. Like, sex maybe, like, natural, it's cool, but it's not the kind of stuff that looks good. I wouldn't really, have sexual discussions of that nature with anybody, especially if my name is attached to it in any way. You know, yeah, you can make sexual jokes, like you can make sexual implications, which a lot of times is, quite frankly, a little more romantic. It works a little bit more, but like graphic sexual discussions, yeah, not something very smart, folks, and not something I would encourage. But yeah, like why did you ask her to call you Poppy? Something that's funny coming up.
I don't want to say anymore.
What is Poppy?
What is so this is like funny. So that's what I like. Chris is like asking him like why did you ask her to call you Poppy? And he's like straight up like I don't want to say anymore. Like we were talking about. Like you shouldn't even like if you were police you're like okay well do you want a lawyer or something because like otherwise I may get in trouble for keep talking to you. But Chris asks like a more non-invasive thing. It's like, well, what is Poppy? I don't think it's like because he doesn't know, but it's more of like he wants him to keep talking. And so he's like, what is Poppy? Like very condescendingly, well, what is this stupid shit? Like, what is Poppy? And he answers literally like, what does he say? It's like slang.
Latin saying.
Nickname.
It's Latin slang. It's like
You wanted her to call you the boss.
the boss.
And then you say, I just hope your mom doesn't find out about me because I could get in serious trouble, right? I could go to jail.
To get into big trouble.
I know love knows no age, but most people don't think the same.
Get the fuck out of here. Love knows no age.
12.
Fucking creep.
I know, I messed up.
Have you done this before?
It is like he brings that up because that's some people will say that. It's like the girl is like 20 and then the guy's like 50. Is like love knows no age. Well, yeah, like people say that because they can form consent, like because they're adults and adults can do what they like. You fucking disgusting piece of shit. He's talking to a 12-year-old and love knows no age.
No.
Have you ever contacted an underage girl online before?
Yes.
We have evidence of that, too. A 13-year-old. So why
He was ready to catch him on that. We have evidence of that.
I just personally
You just woke
taking
up-
a chance.
You woke up a few weeks ago and said, I'm going to chat up this girl and drive from your home where?
New York
In Brooklyn.
and Queens.
Queens. You said Brooklyn. Or do you work in Brooklyn?
I work in Brooklyn.
And you live in Queens.
Yes.
And what do you do for work?
I don't know what that is. That far? I don't know. Maybe that's what he's asking.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good pay.
It's alright.
It's all right.
Why would you toss it away for this?
This is so fucking ominous, right? Like, don't you think, like, there's a lot more to break down in what I thought in this, but, like, essentially Chris is like, why would you throw it away for this? It's like, it's so fucking ominous, like, don't even think of going back to that fucking job, like, it's over, man. Like, why would you toss it away? It's so fucking scary.
What do you want people to know about all this?
And you see that throughout all this. I mean, Joshua Colon is not a confident person. He's not he's not strong of will. He's not confrontational. Looking at the Jeff Sokol last week, I mean, it's a complete flip, right? You go from this arrogant motherfucker, right, with his pizza, like fucking like like I didn't do anything. Like he's really outraged to this guy who like he's totally fucking distraught. He has no like there's no like kind of like bravado to him. Like for somebody who wanted to be called the boss, like he's a very submissive like fucking idiot.
Really nothing.
Nothing. What do you think should happen to you?
I guess I have no choice but to go to jail.
No
You
choice
deserve
but
it.
to go to jail.
Yeah.
He says
I
yeah.
mean, can't you explain to me what brought you here tonight?
It's like, come on, Chris. Like, he admitted to everything. Like, what do you think brought him here tonight? Like, Chris, you've never been horny. It's like, he's a fucking predator. He wanted to bang. That's what brought him here. Like, what are you expecting him to say? He admitted to everything already.
I mean, it's not right.
Well, I mean, yeah, we agree on
no,
it's
we
not
don't
right.
understand it.
But he did it, so now he's
I
where
don't
he's
know-
at,
I don't know
right?
what's going through my mind.
You don't know.
No.
I mean, this is your chance to explain yourself.
Well, he did.
There's no way I'm getting out of this anyway, so I'm not gonna say anymore.
You shave down there. I like it smooth.
I mean, like, it's for disgusting shit, but it's like Joshua Colon has the right idea. Compared to other predators, he does state, like, I don't want to say anymore. Then to police is like, is it going to help me? But then he keeps talking. That's the problem.
You say you're going to groom yourself for this special event tonight.
Gee.
That's your car, right?
Yeah. I share that car.
You share that car with whom?
My brother.
Your brother. You have a twin brother.
Brother. Gee.
What would he think about this?
He wouldn't be happy.
He wouldn't be
All your family
happy.
Queens
Again, with the
My
understatements.
mom died, and my father lives in Manhattan.
in Manhattan. Well, Joshua, I don't know what else to say to you.
What else is there to say?
I'm Chris Hansen.
I love that he still hits him with the line, like the tagline, like, I'm Chris Henson. You know this, but...
And this is an investigation called Hansen versus Predator.
Okay.
So if there's anything else you want people to know,
Those cameras are way
Now
too
it's
small.
No.
Nope.
you're free to leave.
Can I use the bathroom? I've been holding it for quite some time.
I think you should go.
I think you should go. It's like, piss yourself. I don't give a shit. Get out of here. You fucking deserve it. You should. I think you should go.
Here we go, please. Put your hands behind your back. Come right over to here. Hands behind your back.
R.I.P. that phone, man.
Stay right there.
That phone fucking smashed. She almost walked on it as well. And it's like a very kind of like civil arrest. Like there's no like there's nothing to it. He's just fucking weak and ashamed, and he goes with it. Very submissive, like we
Anything in
said.
your pocket, sir?
They're searching his person, incident to arrest. You know, they actually, funny thing is they wouldn't have, unless they were looking for weapons or something, they wouldn't have the authority to do that if he wasn't under arrest as a reason for probable cause. Right? They have probable cause, therefore they can arrest him. Therefore, incident to the arrest, they are allowed to search his person and hold the evidence that they find to be receivable in court, right? Because they found it incident to arrest. Same things with his belongings, same things with his car. You can do that, you can search these things, but only after you have probable cause, which they do have because of the footage and what they saw in the chat.
Headphones.
Taking his shit, see ya.
This car. Just slide over. Watch your head.
Now they're just gonna put him
Slide
for booking.
You okay?
It's like, you good, bro? It's like, don't faint on me. I don't want to deal with the fucking like paperwork. They took his food and shit. So yeah, wait. So this is like news. I didn't see that before. I think you can see that is probably the bullshit he brought with him, his overnight bag and everything. And they're gonna put that. He's gonna go in booking. This is gonna be. They're gonna take inventory of that shit. they're going to file the complaint. Then they're going to move to post-arrest investigation, talk to him, trying to get more evidence on him, and eventually, after first hearing, he's going to have to either post bail or stay in a cell there in jail. Um, and then eventually they're gonna you know like I said, classify it and then give it back to him at some point after he posts bail, if it's not evidence of a crime. uh, and then like eventually, like if he's convicted, they would take that with him as well, and then they would take inventory of that in county jail as well.
Take a right, going up here, you're gonna go up the ramp and take a left, okay?
Nothing hidden on your person?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so they already checked him. I think that if I'm not mistaken, they usually on scene just look for weapons, things that could be a danger, right? And then when he goes in for booking, then there's a little bit more of a thorough search. And it's true that it's not very thorough in this case. He just asks him, "Do you have anything on you?" Um, my understanding of what we talked about it in class is there's a bit of like turn your pockets and shit like that. But maybe this is cut so we don't see everything.
I did tell them that I had some everything
Where are they?
in that yellow bag, tip over.
Okay, but there's nothing on you right now.
No.
Okay. Okay. You need to use the bathroom?
Yes.
Okay, right through there.
The officers in uniform are going to do what we call
Yeah, they're
process,
like keeping
okay?
he's really behind bars, literally.
When they're done,
Yeah, that's a
I'd
good
like to take you
overview of
upstairs. If you'd
booking.
like an opportunity to talk, that's going to be up to you. You'll be advised of your Miranda rights. I think you should think
Yep.
about it as you're spending time down here, because right now we only have one version of events. We don't have your side of the story. Okay.
And like it's like telling him like we only have one side of, that's a good excuse to get him talking, right? Like I think we all approve of it, like fucking get him. But like on the other hand, it's like it's sort of kind of like underhanded. It's like because really like we've talked about this before. Like I've told you, like at this point, nothing he's gonna say is really gonna help him. He can only dig a bigger freaking hole for him to be buried, in court. Just give them more evidence. Just fucking keep talking, and he does. Yeah, it is what it is.
Is Josh okay?
Good
or
for
are you like
them.
Joshua?
I hope they get him.
Josh is fine.
People call you Josh. Get comfortable.
People call you Josh, and I was like, people call me Poppy. If he fucking said, if she said, I wish she would have said like, do you prefer Josh? Do you want me to call you Poppy?
Have a seat. How are they downstairs?
The boss
Don't wait on us. We've already eaten dinner, so we're good to go. You're the hungry guy.
starts eating.
Okay, so obviously you know that we want to understand a little bit about what brought you to Fairfield, Connecticut tonight. So we're hoping you can explain that to us.
To meet a young girl.
Oh, pardon me?
He's straight up.
To meet a young girl.
Yeah.
Okay. How
Yeah.
young? What's her name? How did you meet her?
12.
It's like all the elements we need, right? Like let's get going with it. Like, how did you know she was underage? Yep, that checks. Okay, like you wanted to have sex? Yep, intent, that checks. Like this is what they're doing.
She told you she was 12?
Yes.
Just admits all over the board.
Just tell us a little bit about, as early as you remember, your first conversations and kind of how your relationship with her developed from that first contact.
I don't have to answer these questions, right?
You don't?
And he doesn't. It's like he really doesn't. And we've jumped over them reading him his Miranda rights. And that's obviously how he would know this. Or because they just read it to him. He's like, I don't have to answer this, so why would I? And then they reel him back in, like we're gonna see.
I mean, I'm answering these questions is going to incriminate myself.
Exactly.
It depends. I mean, I don't know. I told you before that
Yes,
it's
you
going
do.
to allow us to understand your side of the story.
Yeah.
You can't predict what you're going to say, so could you potentially say something that's incriminating? Of course. Could you also say something that maybe explains things? Of course. But
So like again as a disclaimer, of course we're glad he gets bagged. Like I think that studying criminal law, like if this kind of thing popped up on like a multiple choice, what they're doing right now is sort of iffy. If you take into account like the fact that he has the right to remain silent, enticing him to speak when he asks you, is it going to incriminate himself? To say, well, it may or may not, and maybe, but like to kind of, obviously they know their job, so like this is probably acceptable. But I guess this is more my defense attorney hat on, right? It doesn't look very good, right? If you're in front of a judge and you're like, well, he said that he didn't want to talk and he was worried about it incriminating himself. And then, the officers told me, well, we want to hear your side, and, kind of enticing him to talk even more. Like I said, in this case, like we're glad he gets it, but it's kind of like we're saying, like the devil's advocate of TCAP, sort of. Like why it's like iffy from a criminal procedure sort of perspective.
Being in your mind and knowing what you're going to say, I don't want you to feel like we're trying to trick you because you're not, but we don't know what you're going to say.
Well, you say that, but
just to be fair,
you want to keep him talking to get more shit on him. So call it what you will.
I came to meet her. I mean, that's all I can say.
Yeah.
Okay. And you asked her how old she was?
Yeah.
And what did she tell you?
She said 12.
Okay. Did she tell you when she was turning 13?
I don't remember.
Okay. And is 12 an age that you're comfortable with? That's your preference, or?
I date older, younger. I mean, not younger than 12. But
He's like older, young. Not younger than 12. He's like he fucking knows it's gonna sound bad. Like what a stupid fucking shit to say when you're in that position. We're gonna talk a little bit about it when he starts admitting to other more serious things. Right. That's when it starts not being funny at all anymore. Yeah, that's a very stupid thing to say. Like I said, we'll talk a little bit about it in like a few minutes.
12 and up.
Okay. You're how old?
32.
You're 32? Okay.
Yeah.
At what point does it become like a sexual conversation, and how does that happen?
I don't know. I mean, it just came up, I guess. I guess because it was on my mind. But
Had she sent you pictures of
yeah.
herself?
Yeah.
And had you sent pictures of yourself?
I guess, I don't remember.
Okay. Would you say that you were sexually attracted to her
Yeah.
right off the bat, or was it something that developed over conversation, or?
So see, this is what like we're gonna get. I feel sort of like a broken record, but I keep pointing it out because it's important for people to know this. And I'm not talking I'm talking innocent people. When police gets you in this position, this is what they do. They put you in a spot where you're in a claustrophobic room. They have the right to do this. Don't get me wrong. Like they put you in a claustrophobic environment, and then they start asking you things. Even though they've read your rights, the idea is you don't want him to feel free to just evade the conversation. You keep pushing a little bit, right? Like they're civil with him, right? But they keep pushing it. He obviously is not talking, right? He's mumbling to himself, like he doesn't really answer. He's like, I guess, I don't know. But they keep like, okay, so, and they throw something else at him. It's important to recognize that you as an individual have certain rights, right? And one of them that I would encourage you to use, I'm not telling you what to do, is when you are confronted with police and suspected of a crime, to call your lawyer, to ask for legal representation, and not to say anything at all. Even if you think it's going to help you, don't say it, because you're probably perjuring yourself. You're probably embellishing the truth. You're saying something that sounds good, but it ends up incriminating you because it's probably either a lie or embellished, or not receivable anyway to help you. So, yeah.
This whole conversation.
When was the last time you maybe spoke with somebody who was in that age group, 12, 13?
It's been a while.
That's a while. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I talked, but I never actually went to meet them because I was always afraid.
Of what?
To be like on that guy's show.
That's what you were afraid of?
And they're like, yeah, so, and they're like laughing. On my part, Yes, I guess on a certain point, like because he brings up the show and like he's been worried of it, it sort of is comical. Um, the implication though is not funny at all, because the understanding is like I was afraid to be on his show. Okay, so it's like that's the only thing that you were worried about, right? You had no worries whatsoever about ruining like a child's life, like doing something like that. It's so disgusting. Like you didn't care about that, right? It was all about you not being caught. Very fucking disgusting.
Can't say that I
And may,
blame you.
yeah, maybe they're laughing nervously
So
also,
face
but
immediately and no fuss.
that's what you were worried about, like your own safety,
I mean, I don't know what else
not
to
the
say.
person that you were going
What was
to
your
ruin.
intention? What do you envision yourself doing right now if that hadn't happened?
I don't know, just to hang out, you know, I guess have sex.
Your intention was to have sex with her?
Yeah,
Okay. Did you tell her you loved her?
yes.
Why?
I don't know, I guess to kind of, like, I don't know, kind of pull her in, I guess, or something.
Pull her in, yeah,
Pull her in.
manipulate her. That's what it is. Call a cat a
The
cat.
12-year-old today said
Yeah.
that she was a virgin,
Yeah.
and you liked that she didn't have experience.
Gee.
During the police interrogation, Cologne appears to come clean, and then he makes a startling admission about a previous rendezvous with a 15-year-old boy.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we have everything out on the table.
I mean, I did have sexual relations with someone older than 12,
How old?
15.
When was that?
Yeah, and he fucking admits it. And like I don't know about you, like for me, like this is when shit gets real. Um, like this is not a sting anymore. Like this is not like a virtual chat with somebody who's making fun of him. Like he's had sexual relations with a minor, and he admits to it. It's sort of like when he's in this position, I feel like I don't know. I haven't been in trouble. Like not even talking about police. Never been in trouble with police, but I've never really been in a lot of trouble. But at some point, it's like if you've been caught for something, you might as well come clean with it. And that's the situation he's in right now. I feel like he's carrying like the weight of it with him, and then he's like, well, since I'm here, I'm spilling my guts. Like I might as well fucking reap what I sow, right? Like I might as well tell the full truth, and it is what he's doing.
A few months back.
Okay. And where did that happen?
That was
And the police is gonna ask more about it. Was it in the same jurisdiction? Was there a statute of limitations? I guess it's just fact sensitive. I would need to know more about that.
like, I think it was about Long Island.
And was it a similar situation, Stephen, like this? Like we had met over the internet and,
Yeah,
Josh?
yes.
Okay. Do you remember her name?
It's not a her.
Okay. Do you remember his name?
Gabe.
She's like makes an effort not to be faced by it. It's like, okay, what's his name? And it's like, yeah, but probably to freaking try to locate the person, get him to initiate a complaint, know like the body of the crime, like where it happened, who it is, so they can file charges against him for that as well, if it's possible. Probably also to assist the victim very plainly. Like it's a very scarring thing, as a minor to have happened to you. Whether it's consensual or not, we really don't give a shit. There's no consent unless you're an 18-year-old in this country. So yeah, probably just assistance of the victim is a big part of it. You want to know who it is. You want to get them help, especially if they're underage.
Did you meet with David one time or more than one time?
Anytime.
And what happened when you met with him?
We had sex.
Is there anybody else?
No, that's it.
No, that's it. Yeah, just while it's about to end, it's like this is where like shit gets real. Like I said, a lot of these predators, it's kind of stupid of me, but I want to believe that a lot of them are telling the truth when they're saying I chatted up and I lapse in judgment. I showed up. I wanted to have sex because whatever. And they're still predators. Don't get me wrong. Um, but you want to hope that they are correct, right? Like that they're telling the truth. They've never had sex before, and frankly, a lot of them are so strange and like unconfident and stuff like that that he's like, hopefully that's right, and that guy probably never was able to pull it off. When this guy admits to the fact that it has happened, that he's now a repeat offender, and one of them, he didn't just fucking attempt the crime, right? He completed the crime, like sexual relations with a 15-year-old. It's fucking awful to hear. Like to his limited credit, he is an honest individual, for whatever that fucking is worth, right?
Okay, so your phone, are there any pictures or images or videos of younger people?
Yes.
Kind of give me an idea of what we're
Add that to the
looking at.
list.
Boys, girls, about what age?
Both.
Boys and girls?
Yep.
And what age group?
I guess about 12 around there.
Gee.
And older.
12 and older?
Like older.
Okay, possession of child
Yes.
pornography.
Let's do it.
It's like, let's do it, let's bag him. Let's finish this.
Cologne pleaded guilty. He received a 7-year suspended sentence. He served 3 years in prison and is about to be paroled any day now. He's got to register as a sex offender for 10 years.
Yeah, and that was Joshua Cologne, and frankly, just Chris reading this, like the sentencing there, it's like it seems so light in comparison to what we would like on a moral stance. As a law student, I'm able to separate my moral, judgmental like propensities from like the legal proceedings and what is fair to the defense and the prosecutors, right? I'm able to differentiate these things. But like I said, if I only speak for my the moral component, I think we all together empathize on the fact that it's just so light in comparison, right? It may be what is fair legally, but realistically, how can that account for the heinous crime that it is? And again, like on me as my moral, like it should be way harsher, you know like to me. And again, maybe I get some hate for this. Again, I'm not saying this is what should happen, but for people who are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt and are repeated sex offenders of that kind, to me there's only two good options as a society that we should implement. Either they're killed or they're castrated. And that seems very harsh, but listen, like it's incapacitation. You're making it impossible for them to repeat that crime. When you're a repeated offender, maybe not in his case, it's 2 times, like when you're doing this again and again, and you're committing such a heinous crime, that seems like a good alternative. You get a choice. You die or castrated. Incapacitation in both cases. To me, this is what morally is fair. I am not saying, again, this is what we should do legally. Don't freaking misquote me. I'm saying this is, like, to me, the moral kind of consequence that should be implemented. But yeah, this was Joshua Cologne. Good commentary, a lot more to bring up. Some funny shit in the beginning, way less funny at the end when shit hits the fan. But yeah, I enjoyed doing this. Hope to see you in the next one. Again, I hope you keep the channel growing. Keep subscribing, keep liking. It helps a whole lot. Keep commenting on the videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.